Waiting on. Aha! Is that our intrepid app developer? Oh, he's connecting to audio. Let's let him connect. Uh-oh, you're going to have to check your settings there. Can you hear me? I know you guys can.
I hear you. It's like my internet is like, shitty right now.
It's okay. Mine was out for a day. Our intrepid app developer can write a whole new Google app, but he can't figure out Zoom. Let's talk bad about him while he can't hear us. NJ's firing up Rocket Chat. That's hilarious. Joe, apparently you're the 11 out of 10, the top #1 requester. I guess we'll wait for our intrepid app developer to sort out Zoom.
John, I love your top. I have a matching outfit. So next time you're in San Francisco, we're gonna have to match up.
You're talking about my beautiful raspberry polo shirt here?
Oh my word, it's perfect.
Oh yeah, it's Sarah's favorite too.
It's really
good. That
good.
tells you anything.
Yeah, I have a very bright pink, like anorak outfit.
Wait, it's not exactly pink. I think the light is just causing a little bias or confirmation bias. It's more like a raspberry. It has more of a.
Can you see that? Maybe
a little bit added purple. Oh yeah, I know. That probably would match great.
I'm even wearing a mask. Yeah, what's up?
Are you virtue signaling by wearing a mask?
No, virus is not political.
I agree. So I'm kind of stalling because our intrepid app developer is figuring out Zoom. So at least now he's got the mute signal. Oh, yeah. He lit up.
Okay.
Oh, I hear him.
Okay, I think we're good to go. So
now you just got to figure out your video because I saw you before. There he is.
Yeah, it's the first time I use Zoom, so.
Oop, there he is. Oop.
So it's a little technological ramp I had to get over. So.
Help me pronounce your username.
My name on Numerai is Ceunen, but it's my last name.
Okay,
so
Ceunen?
Ceunen, yes.
Ceunen, okay. I'll roll with that. Ceunen, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, crap. I think it's episode 8. Yeah?
What?
I think this is episode 8 of Office Hours. Second season, episode 8. I got out of sequence, and now I'm totally out of sorts. I don't know what's going on. But thank you for joining us today. I guess we'll just jump straight into the questions. Where do you live?
Antwerp in Belgium. So Belgium. It's a medium-sized city in Belgium. So.
Okay, great. Who do we have near there? We have a couple of users in that area.
I'm in Belgium now, but I'm only a tourist.
Ah, I think you guys should meet for a pint.
Well, I'm closer to Brussels, so yeah.
Oh, Brussels, yeah. Okay.
Not too far. Belgium isn't that big a country.
Right. Cool.
But what do you think of Belgium?
Say that again, please.
What do you think of Belgium?
Yeah, Jeremy, what's Belgium like these days?
Well, I love Belgian beers, and I keep visiting once or twice a year because my girlfriend's family is from here. So yeah, that's okay. I have no choice but to like it.
Funny you mentioned Belgian beers. There's a Belgian beer brewery that's about a quarter mile from my apartment here in Boca Raton, Florida. Kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's called Barrel of Monks.
For beer, so
it's pretty dope. Ceunen, what do you do for a living?
I'm a software engineer at a small company here in Antwerp. So
okay,
but I also do some machine learning and some DevOps. So kind of the whole thing.
Oh, great. That's awesome. Because I was wondering how you were able to do an app and you participate in a tournament, but I think we'll probably get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
How would your parents describe what you do for a living?
Yeah, they're obviously from another generation, so they have a hard time understanding about what's behind all the screens. So I don't know exactly what they think that I do, but they know I do something with computers. So, but that's about it, I think.
Okay, so you do something with computers, you make data go from one thing to another, like a
yeah. But I think, I don't think a lot of people of an older age really know, a lot what's going on behind the scenes. So.
Oh, definitely. I mean, a lot of it's probably a bit of magic, a bit of luck. No, just ship it, send it to production. I'm a big advocate of that. Just test it in production. What do you do for fun in Belgium?
I do a couple of things actually. What I do for fun is also making apps. So, for example, the Numerai app. So I really like doing it, but I also like to play with a Raspberry Pi, for example.
Yeah.
I did some home automation. I also bought the Jetson Nano. It's the machine learning platform of NVIDIA. So I also did some computer vision. So I trained the model to recognize trash, and now I can recognize trash with my Jetson Nano and stuff like that.
Nice.
But yeah, that's fun, but it's also tiring in some way. So I also do a lot of sports. So that's also really the thing I do to relax. Yeah.
What kind of sports do you play?
Now it's a little less because of Corona, obviously. But I did a while ago. I did parkour and calisthenics. So I don't know if you know what that means.
So the first one I didn't quite get. What was the first thing you said? Calisthenics. Parkour. Oh yes, where you jump off buildings and basically act like a maniac while
then
putting yourself at great danger.
Yeah, not on the buildings, but just in a gym. So much safer.
Just make sure you give your private keys to somebody you trust in case you kick the bucket, because all that cryptocurrency goes completely to waste if you don't have access.
I have to think about that because if I do that, my money is gone basically. So.
I'll be happy to take your private keys off your hands, and in case something happens, I'll be your benevolent benefactor.
I'll put them somewhere else, but thank you.
Just that's what I'm all about. If it's free, it's me, so I might as well offer to, hold your keys for you. So I want to talk about the tournament a bit, if we could. When did you start participating in the tournament?
I think it was in November last year, so 8 months ago or something, 9 months ago maybe. So not that very long, but still.
Let's check. October 18th, 2019.
Yeah, something like that.
Cool. All right. So that's been a wild ride for you. That was just after Kazusugi launched. So you're bathed in the good times, and now you're experiencing a bit of the bad times, as my friend Bouwe likes to call it.
Yeah.
How did you find out about Numerai? What was the impetus for you to participate?
I have a Twitter account, but I don't follow a lot of people or like famous people, but I follow people in crypto or I follow projects. So my feed is constantly flowing with interesting projects, and I think something popped up there or something. I can't remember exactly. But, yeah.
I'm just disappointed you didn't find out about the project sooner.
Yeah, but because it's been around a long time, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're participating. I just looked at your rank. You ranked 238.
It was higher before, but.
Nah, that's just the way it goes, right? Yeah. It looks like your highest rank was 21 back in April. Yeah. That's very good.
Yeah.
That's very good. perhaps you're fit in the bad times. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what happens, but yeah.
Hard to tell from the graph.
Yeah.
The drip downward, it's a, I don't know, you did pretty good. I'm looking at your scores real quick here.
New models will come in and they
yeah, there's a lot of variation. It's hard to, look, this is the most difficult machine learning tournament in the world for a reason.
Yeah.
I just cross my fingers and hope that my model is going to do well. And
yeah,
the learning gods have blessed me with some good performance lately, so I'm just going to continue to assign it to luck because I'm not so sure it's skill. But let's see. Back to you. I mean, geez, this isn't about me. This is about you.
It's a two-way conversation.
What do you wish you had known when you started out?
That is not always good days, I guess. I started right at like a good period, but now it's going to, now it's biting me in the ass.
Yeah, it's tough if you don't have data that's, you know, representative of every kind of market cycle that you may go through.
Yeah.
You don't have any wildly bad scores. I mean, you're kind of in line with the performance in this recent period. So
yeah, but it's not. I've seen models that are like always positive correlation. So I don't know how to do that, but
it's difficult. I'm sure maybe we'll get into some of that later. So you wish that you had known that it's not always easy.
Yeah,
you need to be prepared for regime changes.
So
I think that's
you have to think about what you're doing and let the model take its time to I don't know, develop or something.
Patience. I think that's been a key phrase from a lot of people too. A lot of people think that this tournament's so challenging that it's impossible to kind of, you know, figure it out, and so it becomes overwhelming and they quit. Why do you think people believe that? Why do you think people believe it's so challenging and too much to handle?
Maybe because the feedback cycle is slow sometimes, because you have a model, but you don't really know if it's a good round or if you're lucky or if you're in a good period or something. So maybe if people get themselves into bad rounds, they immediately think this is hard or something. So I think a lot of people don't have the patience maybe to ride it out, like good and bad times. So.
That's definitely fair. And what you see on the first day isn't representative of how it finishes. We've seen that over the past 2 or 3 months now for sure. So you're a developer. So I'm really keen to hear your commentary on this. What programming language do you use and why?
I think the most basic one is Python, obviously, because it's easy and it's dynamically typed. But I also like Go and Rust because of their type system, and it's really fast in comparison with other languages, and it's a bit more low level. And I really like those programming languages to build apps that need to perform. Because Python is more like playing around with stuff and just writing a script and run it. But I also like Rust and Go for that reason. I also like TypeScript for front end because JavaScript can be really weird. You can do almost anything in JavaScript, so that's why I really like TypeScript. And also now because I programmed app in Flutter is Dart. So I also really like Dart because it's really descriptive for building apps. So those are the main languages I work with, I think, and obviously Java. But I don't really like Java that much, but I need to work with it for my job. So
yeah, of course, you gotta pay the bills, right? So if you were just doing data science, would you change your answer that you just gave us?
You mean as a job, as a profession, or?
Sure. If you were, since you know many languages and you do software development, if suddenly your role became chief data science officer, would you still use a multitude of languages, or would you land on a different language?
I think I still use the languages I'm using now, because each language has its own purpose and its own useful thing you can do with it. So I think you have to pick the language depending on which problem you have, and not want to rule them all. So,
That's cool. That's interesting. I was curious because I really I'm a one-trick pony, so I don't really know a whole lot else. What are your top 3 tips for the tournament? Please, sir.
Yeah, I think the one I mentioned before is patience. So, yeah, it doesn't need a lot of explanation, just have patience. Try different things. So I think if you only have one model, it's hard to see what's going on, because you only have one reference point, so you see other users and you see their models, but it's really hard to learn something new if you only have one model, I think. So I think try something new, and third one, don't go all in too soon, because if you hit a burn period, then it's gonna get bad. So.
Don't go all in too soon. Yes,
Yeah.
I completely agree. Ease into a position, because your outcome is different if you start in a high burn period than if you ease into it and kind of
I did it just before the burn period, because I was thinking this is going good, and then
you know, it's just tough. It's really tough to tell. I see your big chunky withdrawal. I'm looking at your page there.
Yeah, but I'm going to do. I'm withdrawing much, so that I can, in a month, I can re-evaluate everything, and I can put it back in something I evaluated more. So that's my goal now.
No, it makes sense. And I think that's definitely a valid strategy. If you're not confident and you're unsure, definitely take a draw, set it in your wallet, wait a while and reevaluate. Nothing wrong with that at all. And then ease back in when you are ready to come in, you know. Because it's the same thing, right? If you go all in too early, you know. So I think that's good advice. Be patient, try new stuff, and don't go all in too soon.
Yeah. I think that's really good.
I like it. This is a fun one. If you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be, and why would you have it say that?
I thought about it, and I think a lot of people have to go to work each day, so they have to get in their car. Maybe not as much now as before, and I see a lot of angry drivers or people who are stressed and don't enjoy little moments anymore. So I think I would just get a billboard that says breathe.
This says what?
Just breathe. Just take a breath.
Breathe. Oh, breathe. I like it. Just breathe.
Because I think a lot of people get too worked up in everyday life that they forget that they're living. Yeah.
No,
I think that's
present. Do you meditate? You sound like somebody who meditates.
No, but I try to enjoy little things, because otherwise life just goes by and you don't. Yeah.
Definitely.
You'll find yourself old, and you wasted a lot of moments, I think so.
I agree with you. One of the things that I'm a big advocate of is if you're at an event, this is pre-COVID clearly, but if you're at an event and you're viewing the event through your cell phone to take pictures, you're not present.
Yeah, indeed.
Right. So when I'm out and I'm at a cool event, I don't even get my cell phone out.
No, me neither. If I go to a festival or anything, I just don't get my phone. I don't need it.
Yep. The pictures are here.
Yeah.
And if I do have time to take a picture, it's a bonus. It's not like the purpose. I'm completely with you on that. Definitely.
A lot of people are hooked on their phones, and they're just endlessly scrolling and becoming zombies in a way, I think.
Well, yeah, these app developers, they put in this endless loop of content to hook you in. So
But with the Numerai app, you get push notifications, so you don't have to refresh all the time. So
We're gonna get to your app. Don't worry. We're gonna get to it. This can be controversial. I don't mean it to be. It's just, you know, I like to prop them up a bit, make them feel good, because sometimes we're mean to them. But who's your favorite team member?
Yeah, I don't know.
Nope.
A lot of people.
You have to pick.
Yeah, I think
no for an answer on this one.
Jason, because he fixed the pipeline.
Yes.
I think that's really important. That, yeah, I think it was a big fix too, because it was.
It seems to be a big
fix. So,
no,
that's good. I always try to improve everything. So.
Yeah, no, with the pipeline running faster, that's fantastic, because I sure do like getting daily results. Faster is better, right?
You save time, you save electricity, and you save.
Yeah.
Yeah, you save a lot.
Yeah, so we got to vote for Jason. That's cool. Is Jason's hair with us today?
It is. One sec.
Oh, there it is. Yes, my man. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Jason's hair has made a presence, and Jason's hair brought Jason with it. So thank you very much, Jason's hair. And that's all we're getting today, apparently. But Jason, seriously, thank you for the work you did this week. The pipeline. I agree with
I'm sad no one commented on the website being faster. I was proud of that too.
Well, that's like all baked in the cake. Like the pipeline's faster, so the website's faster. So
I'm just amazed. People notice the pipeline immediately, right? It's with the website slowness, fastness. Yeah, it's just barely noticed.
Well, you know, it's kind of like NJ's announcement that she's going to put the office hours on YouTube. It was like it landed with a thud. I was like, okay, well, you know, that's just the way it is sometimes.
Yeah,
just the way she goes. So we got your favorite team member, Ceunen. Any tips for handling this social isolation period with grace?
I think it's important to reflect on a lot of things, because, yeah, the thing with the billboard also is take a breath and think about things and do the things you like and start the hobby you always wanted to do or something. You have a lot of time on your hands. Most of the people, I think, more than usual. So do something that's, yeah. I think it's a really valuable thing you can get out of this pandemic, is that you use your time for something good. Yeah.
Yeah, make yourself better.
Yeah.
It's been a common theme. It's either work harder or learn a new skill, which is another way of saying work harder. So the demographic leaning of my audience here is that you're all workaholics. And I completely fit in with you guys because I'm working with you. But no, I get you. It doesn't have to be work per se. Perhaps the way you better is merely by reading more, or it's merely to get a full 8 hours of sleep rather than staying up too late. So there's many ways to do this. I'm obviously teasing about the workaholic bit, unless you're a workaholic and then you can just own it, and that's cool too.
Yeah, I think it also releases dopamine. So so I think it's an addiction in some way, workaholics. Yeah,
well, just a quick aside, when I code and I make progress, every little step that works for me is like, oh, yes, ooh, I got it, yeah. You know, and then it builds. So I think you're right. I think there is an addictive quality.
If I go on holiday, I always need like a calm down period. It lasts a few days to really, I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta unplug, and it's shocking to your system when you unplug it first. I'm with you. So now you've really kind of dug around through, and you gave us an improvement for the tournament, but what else can we possibly get out of you? What's your number one feature request or improvement for the tournament?
I think renaming models would be cool, because if you replace an old model with a new one, maybe you gave it a name that was descriptive of that thing you were doing back then, but not what you're doing now. So it would be nice if we could rename models.
Yeah, that's interesting. So like you have your 10 models, but if you put a new one in, you remove, not necessarily remove, but you rename whatever slot you have to a new model name, and the other one kind of dies. that what
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah, it's just a name, so
Yeah,
it seems easy, but I'm sure it's not. But
probably. I mean, you would
Yeah.
know better than I would.
yeah, yeah.
Do you have 10 models now, or are you still iterating on ideas?
Yeah, I've 10 since yesterday or something, I think. So yeah, but I think it's good to try different things and monitor them.
So these people in chat are being very distracting, but we have Bohemian Pumpsity as the name. That's, I don't know how you guys come up with this stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, I don't even know what it means. So
It's a play on Bohemian Rhapsody, which is a very famous song. But
yeah, I know that
Bohemian
one, but
Pumpsity, yes, that's fantastic. Do I have any other names I need to say that are funny? We have new underscore name. That's pretty good. That's pretty good too. Very classic.
Yeah.
It's like the loading ... as your username. That's good too.
yeah.
So, Ceunen, if you could turn back time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what would you say to yourself?
I think it would be to relax more and yeah, take more time to do fun things. Because I've always been really into building stuff and creating things, not only with a computer, but also in woodworking or something. Because I made speakers myself.
Oh, cool.
So and when I was younger, I made like a whole tree house. And I would get up in the morning at 7 to work on it till it get dark or something. And it had no use, but I always want to do something. But I would say to myself, try to do less sometimes.
Nice.
I think it's important to do less sometimes.
Yeah, I get that. And I kind of resemble that. I always like to take things apart and figure out how they work.
Yeah.
So I loved it when my dad would bring home like an old office computer so I could just completely gut it and look at how it was built. Thought that was really cool. I like to see how things are built, not necessarily the whole process of building it from scratch, but like finish the job. I think that is probably something that you're also hinting about. Like,
Yeah.
have an end goal and stick to the plan, not just endless building, right?
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone who wants to become a data scientist?
I think it's hard to approach data science if you don't know the basics. It's cliche, I think, but I think it's true. That you get to know standard things such as linear regression and what's a feature space and what's a loss function and what are maximum margin classifiers, SVMs and such, and how are they different than decision trees and how do decision trees work with entropy and information gain and what's gradient descent, and just learn about what you're doing. Like try to visualize your feature space and what you're actually trying to separate with all your models. Because in the end, it's a geometry problem. Because you have your features and then there are dimensions and you have your data points, and you just have to figure out a way to split them.
Yeah, to map it.
Yeah, so I think in a way, you have to really try to understand what you're doing first instead of just running algorithms.
No, I think that's totally valid. Have an understanding of what's going on. Don't just throw stuff at a data set.
It's cliche, but
yeah. Anson added a question in chat. Hope you don't mind me adding to it, but Anson would like to know if you could explain your naming strategy for your models. You mentioned that you wanted to name it something that was like a clue for you as to what you did. So can you explain your naming strategy?
I started out with symbols, but then I realized that usernames are also present in the URL, so you can't use slashes and ampersands and stuff. But I wanted to use special symbols, but that wasn't possible. So I started with notable underscores. It's really stupid, but that's why I want to change my names, but it's not possible. And then I was trying to give it more descriptive name. For example, axons, or like the things in your brain, like that emits your pulses. Yeah. Then you have a tract that's like a bundle of those things. And then Swiss is a model that has neutralization, because Switzerland was neutral in the World War, I think. And then I have slope, and that's because it's XG boost, I think. And I thought of a ramp, like a slope is like not really hardcore trained XG boost, but just a slope. Yeah, it's really weird. It's just the first thing I come up with when I make my model.
Well, you're far more creative than I am. I just added numbers.
Yeah. That's also possible. But now I have like really strange names with my underscores, and I want to change that.
So I have one final question for you, and then we'll talk about the app that you developed.
Yeah.
If you could step into my shoes, what would you ask yourself that I did not?
Yeah, I think that's really hard one.
Well, what do you want to tell people that maybe I didn't give you a chance to?
Yeah, maybe I was thinking, I think an interesting question to ask people is also, if you could pick any field of study that you want, what would it be?
I think I'm going to write that down. I like that. So,
because
your question while I write it down.
Yeah. And I think if I could pick something, I would go for physics or mathematics, because it really underpins everything that's happening in the universe. And I think it's a really powerful language to talk with the universe in a sense. But the thing is, I think with physics and mathematics is that you either can do it or you cannot. It's really hard to learn. Or how do I say it? And I just wasn't really fit for that, but that's why I did computer science. I also got a lot of math and physics, but it was more pinned on computer science.
Right.
So, but I think it's really interesting if you can do physics. It's really cool.
Very cool. Thank you for taking my questions.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it. I always like talking to users of the tournament. But I want to talk about your app because it was really cool. I've been checking it out for a little while now, and you took one of my suggestions, and I'm grateful for that. I asked if we could put the model rank next to your username, and you did. Thank you. It's super dope. It loads really fast. I haven't figured out if I can get it to show. Oh, somebody's texting me while I'm trying to show my phone. That's dangerous.
Did you write this?
It's probably too bright. But anyway.
Did you write
it? I got it to work. It's super cool. It shows your rank next on the left column, the round resolution, how much you have at stake, and what your pending payout is for each of your 10 models. And then at the top, of course, it shows your net overall pending payout, and you can denominate it in the currency of your choice. But at the time I set my currency, I think there's only 3 choices. Has that expanded?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone asked to include Australian dollars, I think, and British pounds.
You're welcome, Joe. I think that was for you. I think we need some Mexican pesos. And I'm trying to think of what else do we have. Probably some Canadian and some CAD.
Yeah.
We need
South African rands for the micro.
Rands for our friend Rudy, and also some Japanese currency as well. So we have a large contingent.
So can someone make a list out of that and just send me?
Yeah, hey, we can just believe me, like if you put out a thing and you are open to suggestions, the group that you're talking to right now is not shy to ask for stuff. So that's a good
someone says in Bitcoin, it's also possible.
yeah, any currency. I mean, that makes sense. You certainly could.
And someone also asked in the chat that you write this app in Dart, and yeah, I've written it in Dart.
So what inspired you to build this app?
It's with most things is if something takes a lot of time or a lot of clicking, or you can build an app for that. So I was always looking at my model and looking at the daily scores, and it was tiring. and especially when you have more models, then your correlations and your payouts, and it's all spread out. So you have to click open 10 tabs or something and evaluate and add stuff. And yeah, and then it's time for an app to do that.
No, it's wonderful. Thank you so much for making it. I use an Excel sheet, and like you said, I have to go through line by line and update each of my models, each of the things that I track, and it takes 15-20 minutes a day. I kind of enjoy it. It was much more fun when it was all green.
Yeah,
like count my shekels and like, ooh, I wonder what fun thing I can buy this week. Like that was more fun than, oh crap, I'm losing money.
It's almost all yes with me now. So
no, the app's great. I'm using it. The API works fine for it.
Yeah, I was really nervous because
it loads fast because of Jason's work, right? So it's pretty dope. Anson wants to know if you wrote the app in Dart.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
It's a cool language, Dart. So I can definitely recommend it. So I also written a Medium post about it. So
right.
You can look me up on Medium, and it says a post about Flutter and Dart.
Anybody have questions for the app dev? I would suggest maybe coordinating with Anson somehow to be able to scan the QR code of your keys, because I had to thumb that API key in and that sucked.
Yeah, I know. It's a thing I know.
Okay, so actually, we've been talking about this internally. Maybe I can get some feedback from you guys. The reason why we need the keys right now is because which models belong to your account is actually private information right now. If we make
the model IDs, right?
Yeah, just the model name.
Yeah.
So I could make it public so that you can just put in one model name, and then the API will just tell you all its peers.
I got you.
All the other models that belong to the same account. I could do that. I actually think maybe we should do that.
I like it.
We won't need API keys for this app at all.
I think that would be a very good thing, but I can't speak for everybody else.
I don't know about that, because maybe some people want to keep their models private. If they have, I don't know. If they have a model in the top 10 or something, and they have a high-stake model somewhere else.
It might be a bit of a privacy issue because of staking. You may not want everyone in the world to know how much money you have.
Yeah.
Especially if you could be identified and actually become a target. So
now you can.
It sounds like something you may want to opt in for. I mean,
that's the alternative, of course, is opt in. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're probably not going to expose any information about that count. It would just be which models you're related to. But thanks. Let me know if you guys have any feedback.
Yeah, but if I've got 10 models, right, who here can name all 10 of my models? Some of you probably know 3 of them or 1 of them.
Yeah.
But if I had one and it had, that I just didn't want to associate with myself for whatever reason, especially if it was a financial reason.
True.
Yeah.
And then someone, so you don't need to necessarily, people can find out stuff. This is the internet, people can find out anything.
Yeah, don't dox me, bro.
Cool.
Are you Sorius, Wigglemuse?
Yeah, there he is.
No,
He's Sorios.
Totally not.
He's Sorios. He just told us.
I've chatted with Wigglemuse and Sorios on Rocket Chat at the same time before, so unless he's like using two computers, I don't know.
That's how far some people go to keep it private.
I have two computers right by me. I got two keyboards, so it's totally possible.
But maybe we could do something with a QR code or something, yes. That you just can scan it or something. It would be useful, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think QR code would be...
I like the opt-in idea. I think that's probably the safest bet.
I happen to mention the name of my Wi-Fi network, and if you've noticed my usernames, they tend to be unique. And somebody posted within 5 minutes where I lived because there's a database of Wi-Fi networks, and it was a unique name. So it's just,
are you serious?
there's a lot you can do with information. They posted it on Rocket Chat.
I use that.
They said, "Be careful," because I could see. Do you live here? I was like, "Well, don't post it."
Yeah, don't dox me, bro. I mean, that's
warning me, and posting it at the same time.
That's like Netiquette 101. Like, oh well. I remember that now that you mention it because I used that service to find open Wi-Fi one time when mine went out because I had an outage and I needed to get online. It was like critical urgency. In fact, all of us were out, so it didn't help at all. But I just thought I'd say that as an aside. So, Ceunen, thank you. The app's awesome. I use it. I like the push notification, too, because I know if the app pushes me, that clearly the score is ready, right? And so I don't have to wait and check Rocket Chat and spam F5 like we all used to do. I can just wait. And it's really good. Thank you. Seriously.
Yeah, no problem.
Great.
I just made it for myself, and I thought maybe other people could benefit from it, but I didn't think it would be such widely spread. So. But it's good. It's good that I can help someone. That's the thing I made. So.
No, your stuff makes an impact. So you should sleep very well tonight, knowing that you've helped some people out.
I hope it all keeps running without bugs, and then push notifications keep coming, and because it wasn't easy to put it all together.
Oh, I'm sure. God bless you. I couldn't even fathom starting out to try to develop an app. This is great. It works, like I said, it works really well. The notification is awesome because, like, just before we came on, like, I was like, oh, my phone just vibrated. What did it do? Oh, my daily scores are ready. Like, woohoo!
It's really early.
It's awesome. No, I think it's great. So, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Anson says, I once wrote a service that uses Wi-Fi base station IDs to triangulate location. Now that is creepy, Sly Fox. You shouldn't admit that.
It's part of the Uber app.
Are you married yet? Because, my man, don't be telling the ladies that you can do that. Just saying. It's part of the Uber app, really?
Well, every app with a non-trivial install base does it, or at least used to do it at some point.
Google Maps does it too.
Interesting. Well,
yeah, so does a Blue Face social network, or at least used to.
The less I know, the better sometimes. I'm just going to go right into the questions because I don't want to know what else the internet knows about me at this point. Yeah. So, Joe's got this question. Round 219 looks like a big burn for most models. With just 1 week difference between rounds, do we have any clue as to why that might be? Yeah, it looks like I don't know that it's a big burn because some people are burning pretty heavy, like integration test. Oh, I had the tab open. Where'd it go? Here we go. Integration test 219 has a correlation of negative 0.04. And like I'm not burning as bad on one of my models. So to me, I just don't want to burn as bad as integration test. And I can't find a way to make sure that I do the opposite of it, right? And so that's the best metric I can use. If you don't draw down as much, then you've outperformed. So I think one of the goals should be simply to not draw down as much. And maybe someday we'll figure out how to do even better. But for now, I think that's the benchmark to hold. Like integration test right now for 222 is negative 0.018. See if you can have a less drawdown from that. Now, the 1 week difference deal is, yeah, we're going to see similarities week to week. That's been a problem or a feature, depending on how you look at it, for a long time now, because you're making predictions on potentially the same group of stocks with just a week's space between the data, right? And so if those same conditions are present in the data, then you'll probably have the same result or similar. But again, it really depends on how it resolves. So yeah, 219 is about to resolve, so it's pretty fixed. It's going to burn. But 220 is positive for most people. I can't explain that. Richard maybe can help us understand a bit if Richard's willing to talk about it. Is he still here? No, he probably bounced. The maids are probably vacuuming and it's too loud. Michael Oliver, do you have anything to offer on that one?
No, not really.
Yeah. It's kind of the black box, so we got to be patient.
I was curious, like, if anything interesting happened in the market that, during that week or something. I don't really follow the market, so yeah, Kino.
Yeah, so I posted something on Rocket Chat, and it's basically this past week and this week are, like, say, the runs like 219 and 218. These were like the bulk of the companies report on the S&P and the Dow Jones and whatnot. So you're starting to see like the impact of COVID on their quarterly reports. So in the long term, so like my theory is that in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to stabilize. But like right now, there is this high volatility period where, like, we had been forecasting companies or sectors like performing in X, Y way. And now there's going to be a slight reshuffling of that just based on COVID-19. So anyway, that's my theory. And the dates are like, the rounds are like 219, which resolves next Thursday, and 218. So yeah, that's my theory on the markets.
Kino, I like it. It makes sense. It's plausible. I don't see why it would not be something like that. It's definitely relevant. It would be interesting then to align it with 3 months ago and 3 months before that and see if there were some strange patterns in the data on earnings then. Because it would seem, if it was true now, it would still have some effect back then. Maybe we did even better because earnings were good 3 months ago compared to 3 months before that. I don't know. Also, a lot of this is really open to chance because we just don't know. We just don't know. But it's cool. I like that, Kino. That's a pretty good insight. I've never seen this before, but there's a question pinned on Slido. Like, it's solid blue.
I did that.
And it's like the most important question apparently that's ever been posted before, because I've never seen this before. And the question is, when Wigglemuse?
Sorry, sometimes I have to focus the thing to get the audio on. I did not see that question. That must have been a late one. And I don't know. I've actually never been invited, so.
Consider this your formal invitation, sir. Will you join me next week for Office Hours with Arbitrage as my special guest? Whoop. I think you double tapped it. There it is.
Sorry, I had to open the calendar to see when that was. Yeah, sure.
Yes.
That sounds fine, tentatively, but yeah, I can make that work.
Awesome. So I'll send you the advanced list shortly. That way you can prepare. I'm excited. You give us great commentary in Rocket Chat. Great attendance in office hours. We appreciate you. So I think it'd be great to get to know you a little better. Thank you. I appreciate that. You got blue tag, bro. Like, that's stunning. I've never seen it before. So clearly that it's a very high demand item. Anonymous is asking, when do we get the Corr plus MMC leaderboard? I can't answer that. I have to defer to the team.
It's going to come closer to when reputation bonus gets phased out.
It's about 6 to 7 weeks. That's what it sounds like. Cool.
There might be a secret combination of keys and clicks that you can do on the website to bring forward, though.
Ooh. Oh, the Easter egg thing that you talk about. Now people are going to be blowing up the website. For sure. There's going to be some broken website stuff going on. Joe is asking, is MMC performance indicative of future MMC performance? I'm going to go with a partial yes on that. A partial yes. If the models are stable, then yes. But if lots of people are changing their models, then potentially no. But I'm going to go with, because of how much effort it is to like develop 10 unique models, I'm going to go with that it's pretty stable. And what you have in the past is going to be indicative in the future.
I asked because I was looking at Madman and he had, or she, or whoever it is, high MMC in the past, but recently negative MMC, I think, unless I'm mistaken.
It's possible that somebody's switching out their models too, right? They're just using the same username and have different submission files. Like mine are all in compute. So that's why I think in that case, somebody who's stable, that will remain stable if everybody else is also stable, because it is relative to the group that you're compared with, right? So I think it generally partially true. If you are keeping your model stable and you've done so for a long period of time, then I think you can make a decision based on that. But if you're making changes and you're swapping submission files and you're unable to disentangle all of that, then I don't think that you'll be able to have a very good look back. So I read this question earlier and I was kind of stoked because I've been watching this model for a couple of weeks now and I'm quite frankly not sure how I feel about it. But are you happy with how your leverage account is doing since you changed it? Well, yes and no. Yes, because in the burn sequence, I'm way outperforming integration test. I'm still burning, but I'm definitely not burning as bad. So if you look at 219, I'm down 0.025. Integration test is down 0.04. And then I'm positive in 220, 0.011, and my MMC is also positive. And integration test is negative and negative on both. So I'm not drawing down as much, but I'm also just straight burning. And if you look, when I flipped over to this new regime for this model, it's exactly when the burn started. Like, son of a bitch, damn it. But I'm still okay with that because I'm doing better in integration test in the same time frame. But I want to see what it looks like on the upside. So now I'm like, okay, let's get over this burn period. I want to see how it does on the upside. Oh, and this is another thing I wasn't too thrilled about. I wanted to put leverage on compute plus MMC, but if you have a pending stake withdrawal, you can't switch. You have to delete your pending stake change, make the switch, and then withdraw. So I kind of got hosed on that, but whatever. I'll just wait till the withdrawal goes through and then I'll flip over. But I think leverage is going to do pretty well with Corr plus MMC, but it's still kind of early. So the leverage is specifically designed not to draw down as much as integration test. Full stop. That's it. I only targeted to not draw down as much. And so far it's doing that. So in that sense, I'm happy. But I want to see what happens when we enter a earn sequence, because is my upside variance constrained as well as my downside? Like, did I just clamp it? Or did I only clamp the downside? That's kind of what I'm hoping is what happened. But I won't know until we have more data. But I'd say I'm happy, but I'm reserved because I freaking walked into a burn sequence with a new model on a heavy stake. I did exactly what Ceunen says don't do. I went all in right away, and that is what I regret.
I did the same thing. So
That's what I regret, honestly. But you know, the burn seasons you. I've been around long enough. Burned several thousand numeraire over that time period, and now I'm okay with it. I think I'll be fine.
It makes you a little more humble.
Yeah. Well, but the other thing is that's kind of weird. Leverage jumped in rank. Like it was getting down into the mid 50s, and now it's rank 18. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, that's kind of dope, but I did not expect that. I expected leverage to just fall down into the middle somewhere, but right now it's killing it. So I don't know, fam. This stuff is weird, but happy but reserved. Wish I hadn't just walked right into a burn period. Ike, there's a global stake limit of 200,000 numeraire. If we exceed, payouts will be reduced. I suppose burn and negative payouts will be reduced too. Is that right? No.
Wait.
If you figure that we're right at 200,000, burn, you're going right back down. But if you're well above 200, then it's proportional. But at that line, your burn is full, your earn is partial. So we need to go right through 200 in order for that not to affect us as much. But if we come down to 200 and then drop below, that will be painful. So there is an effect of an amplification.
Wait. I'm not sure if I understand what you're talking about. So the way we do it is like every Thursday we look at everybody's state, and then we add it all together and we check if it's above or below 200.
Mm-hmm.
If it's above, then we prorata everyone.
Yep.
So that your stake value is actually a little bit lower than what you actually staked, right? So the amount that we pay or the amount that we burn is prorata in the same way.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Only if you're above 200. So, I guess I see what you're saying. If you start the round.
So
I'm with
if
you.
We wake up and there's 400K in stakes.
Yeah.
Then everybody's stake value would be half of what they actually put down. And so the value that we use to calculate burns and payouts would be half of what you actually put down.
I got you. So because you do that, it's not the way that I said.
Exactly.
Okay. Good. I like making bold accusations and being wrong, because then we learn something from it. That's my job here, is to, like, that's what you do when you're in front of a classroom, just in case some of you have not taught before. Yeah. You just say it. This is the will of God. This is truth. And you know what? Sometimes you're wrong. Like, you're totally bluffing and you have no idea. And you know what? That's exactly what I was doing.
Have you ever reached the limit of stake?
I don't think we have.
We never have. So the limit used to be 100. And then we said that we're going to revise it when we get closer.
Mm-hmm.
This 200 limit, I think we're still kind of on the fence. We're still thinking about it, but we reserve the right to revise it.
I hope you revise it up.
Yeah.
I hope you do.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I was wrong on that one, but I went for it. You have the next question, Ike. Thank you. Stake limit 2. Instead of reducing payouts, could it be an alternative to define individual stake limit, say 10,000 numeraire per user? Well, here's the thing. Then people will just make new accounts. And then we're back to the whole bot hunting problem again. Like Sorios, if you limited his account to 10,000 numeraire, I'm pretty confident that they would just make more accounts. Oh, this is my wife's account. This is my sister's account. This is my dog's account. And we would be in this hellhole of chasing down all these bots again that I don't ever want to have to do again.
Now we have 140,000 stake today.
I think we made it close to 170,000 before the burn sequence kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
So we were climbing pretty high. I think a lot of people made some cautious withdrawals to kind of sit out in case the burn's going on. I mean, you can kind of game the withdrawal too, right? So if you initiate a withdrawal, you can just keep changing the pending, right? So you can kind of wait it out. The problem is if you wait too long, you have to wait a month for it to be redeployed. But hopefully there's a change coming to fix all of that. We'll see. I'm hoping.
Can I just confirm it? We're not allowed to create a second account.
That's right. Your 10 models is it.
Right.
I think I'm presuming that if you did 10 emails with one account, you're fine. 3 emails, 3 accounts, one of them with 4, you're fine. It's the 10 model cap. But why wouldn't you just merge them all together because of the convenience sake? I believe that's true, Anson. I can't see you to tell whether you're laughing at me or agreeing. That's okay.
True.
Right. So, Joe, this is a good question. I'm curious too. Jason may have to pipe in because I think he has set these up. Why such a big difference in rank between integration test and integration test 7?
I know that one.
Okay.
They had a glitch last week where integration test didn't submit and it's late. And now it's got a penalty. If you look a week ago, they were the same rank, the same score. Now they're just diverging just the last 5 days.
Aha. Thank you, sir. Any tips
why
on how
they
to
had that glitch? What happened to Anson with the integration test not submitting on time last week, by the way?
Yeah, so I'll explain it to you. Have you guys ever used Airflow? It's a DAG scheduler. So when you ever have like tasks that you need to run on a schedule, so Airflow has this like really special way of like handling dates. And so what happened was, I don't know if you remember, there was 1 week where the round started really late, like almost like 9 hours, almost 12 hours late.
Mm-hmm.
So integration test basically just runs on a schedule. Like this is a fake user, the fake user submits at a certain time. But because the round was so late, that fake user couldn't submit. And so he just missed the submission. So we were so focused on like fixing the the round, making sure it opened as soon as possible, that we forgot to fix integration tests submitting. But we actually kind of went back and actually put a submission there for integration test like retroactively, just because we do need to keep integration test scores as like a public showing of how the example scripts does. So we actually went back and backfilled the scores, but maybe it looks like we didn't backfill the rank, or we still ended up penalizing him. So we're gonna have to look into that.
It does have a penalty or something. You see that just last Wednesday, integration test, integration 7 were exactly the same score, same rank, and they've been diverging since then. Integration test is still higher, so 7 is the correct one now.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go back and remove that. It's because, so the reason why we apart from just display purposes, the other reason why we need to keep integration test working is because we actually have this we use integration test score as your penalty score when you miss a round for your first missed round, or reputation, or MMC reputation, one of those. Anyways, it's kind of like a weird thing to do that. So we're actually going to switch that internally to be the score of example predictions instead of the score of integration test, which is the same thing, but it just doesn't have this weird property. But
is it in an infinite loop of penalizing itself with its own score?
Yes, exactly.
Oh boy, yeah. Dormammu. Oh, that was a Doctor Strange reference. Sorry. Joe, any tips on how to lower autocorrelation? And what is a good / reasonable value? So, Joe, here's my thing on this. I think if you try to target all the metrics, you're going to fail on all the metrics. Okay? So I'm going to urge some caution on that, because there's going to be some sacrifice somewhere, an unintended consequence, if you will. What I did when I was iterating on my newer models is, as I was checking the metrics, when one landed on a low autocorrelation number and all the other stuff looked good, I kept it. Because there's some randomness baked in the cake in some of these models. And so I just kind of waited until I saw something that looked pretty balanced. And that's what's deployed in production. I didn't try to target autocorrelation for the very reason that I said. I firmly believe that if you try to target all the metrics, you'll fail on all the metrics. And you should focus on one thing and give it a couple of runs, change your random seed a few times, and find one that makes everything a little bit better. If it consistently has high autocorrelation, maybe that's a sign that something's wrong. As for targeting it specifically, I don't have any tips on that. I believe my friend JRB may be more qualified to help you if that's what you wanted to do. Maybe Mark Oliver can offer some comments on that if he chooses. But my official answer to you, sir, is simply be careful.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. If you were to do it, how would you do it? Because I don't really know how to do it.
I imagine it would have to be an objective function of lowering the autocorrelation between eras.
Right.
But setting that up inside of a machine learning pipeline, that's well above my abilities. So that's why I would defer to some of the experts that probably do this stuff for a living. Maybe Ceunen does it. I don't know. Nope, no, he's not biting.
No.
He's not taking the bait. Well, I tried. But yeah, I still stand by what I said, though. I think if you try to target all the metrics, you'll fail on all the metrics. I do. I just believe that. I think that like board targets the good times and the bad times. That's great. I think that works good. But you're missing the good times if you're only focused on that. You have the next question too, Joe. Thank you. For each model, would having the beta coefficient to the meta model variance of accurate man, this is word soup. Would having the beta coefficient to the meta model variance of accurate target predictions be a useful metric to have? Similar to smart beta to the SPY. Bro, you're gonna have to walk me through that. I can't even.
Basically, just similar to, you know, beta to the market, essentially.
So that would be like
instead of, yeah. So, but instead of having returns, you know, having you know, variance of how accurate you are to the targets.
The targets are zeros, though. Like everything's neutralized. So I'm just thinking, like, how would this matrix look when everything is neutralized?
NJ wants to talk.
I just waved. I don't know why. I just saw an NJ waving, so I thought somebody had to go. I missed it. I was reading Slido. Sorry. Oh, Hanson had to bounce. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a good forum post. I can't help you on that. I'm not sure that it would work because we don't have a proxy for the meta model. And if it only marginally wins, like, and you also only marginally win, I don't know if it's going to give us a very good metric.
Well, we have a correlation to the meta model, right? So why couldn't we get the beta to the meta model?
Well, that's a good point. Maybe because then you could kind of back into what the equation is.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I think it's a good forum post. It's interesting.
Okay.
I think I'm brain dead because it's the end of the day. Not thinking so clearly right now. Anonymous, what could be a reason for sudden MMC greater than correlation? Your model identifies signal in a regime all of a sudden. I think that could be part of it because MMC seems to come in waves for different people. Sudden MMC, that tells me something changed and your model's picked up on it. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Either the market changed or the balance of the models changed and you've caught the signal and therefore you're giving a good contribution. So yeah, that's a reason. I think that's valid and I'm going to stick with that. Anonymous, did Numerai once experience a user replacing a model for something worse, whilst it actually was the best based on test set performance? So I think what's going on here is like you, the user, saw that the maybe I don't get that question after all. User replacing a model for something worse, what we perceive to be worse, but it was actually very good. I think I did that with arbitrage 4. I didn't think it was very good in the validation, but I wanted to see what happened, and it's kind of doing better in integration test. But I don't know. I don't see any of the team members ready to take that one.
Yeah, I think it's a question for someone from the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're all off the desk. And Anonymous is asking, is it prohibited to have 2 X10 accounts? Yes. You can only have 10 models in the tournament. That is a rule. You will get banned if they find out, and they will, because either they'll sniff it out or one of us super data scientists will crawl the blockchain and find you.
They'll triangulate you.
Exactly. They're going to use the Wi-Fi IDs and triangulate where your signal is coming from. And then Richard will katana you in person. Yes, I definitely fit that one in. So that's the Slido questions. Anybody have any other questions before we bounce? Well, may the burn be fair to you, my friends, and have a fantastic week. Ceunen, thanks again for joining us. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you all in Rocket Chat. Have a great week.
Yeah, same.